say I accidentally start. Oh, it's raining! Oh, I love the rain. Please do not go out for. Yeah.
I have included the audios.
Easy peasy. Okay, where is Boulder Eater? I need to find him real quick before we start the stream. And I'll do the introductions, and then obviously I'll introduce you, and we'll start. Obviously, this is all live, but you know,
Yep.
it doesn't
Copy.
matter. We run these things. I run this thing on the fly. I think half the charm for half the reason why I love doing this is just it's what goes. Where is this fella? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of old names here. I'm not seeing the name I'm looking for. Oh, for fuck's sake. Where is he? Ah, okay, hang on. I'm going to have to find someone. One time I wish I had a keyboard. Oh, okay, we're starting. Except we're starting behind the pause screen, so... Invite to party. Here we go. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome. This is round 8 of Rapid Racing League's Australian Division 3 in France. It is raining. We are observing a 2-minute silence out of solidarity for those suffering in Ukraine as a part of that pointless war instigated by a needlessly aggressive invasion. And with me today is Frizy. So, he does OC comms. So how you doing, dude? It's good to have you with me. Thank you for joining.
How are we all? How are we all? Yes, I have returned to Div 3, ladies and gentlemen. How are
Good
we
stuff.
doing? It's been a while. It's been a while since I commentated Div 3 race, so...
When was the last time, if you don't mind me asking?
It was Japan, where Urban Grove took mediums 24 laps. So,
Oh,
so yeah, it's been a while, so looking forward to see how the drivers go here at France. Looking forward to it.
yeah, the official Rapid Racing League test track of sorts. Yeah, it's going to be mighty interesting if I'm going to be honest, because yeah, a lot of new drivers have come along since you last did this in Japan. Japan was quite a while back, from what I remember, anyway. When was the Japanese race? It had to have been like November or something, right? Maybe.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. I'm curious about that now. But anyway, I invited Boulder Eater to the party, but he hasn't joined yet. Oh, you're here. Sorry, I didn't see it. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't get the notification that you had joined the party. So, anyway, how are you, mate? It's going to be very interesting. It's torrential out there right now. I believe 2 minutes has passed. It might have. I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing we'll know in the Discord if XLabs is annoyed about that, because I know he's been very much pushing this specifically. But yeah, I'll just quickly add a file note to the whole Ukraine thing. That Rapid does stand with Ukraine. We have a hashtag for it. I mean, I feel like we should probably put out like a thing of support for that, where there are easy ways to donate to help Ukraine in this trying time. And yeah, I don't have much else to say, because it is really a sad time to see a country that has done nothing wrong just be invaded like that, and to be shelled, and to have civilians just taken their lives taken from them for no good reason. There's never a good reason to lose a life, but in a pointless war like this, it just reminds you that some days is dark days. Yeah, it's interesting. It is. I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you there on that. One man just spun heading down turn 5. But I do agree with you. Ultimately, it's a trying time, but we will rebuild from this. There are better days ahead. And that's all I've got to say on that. So let's continue with this race. Frizy, have you noticed anything interesting going on around the track? Don't know if Frizy's there. He might have muted his mic. That's okay. Oh, and we see FLX, who's new, who's debuted today, replacing Hardwidge. Hardwidge is obviously will be back at some point, but FLX is a reserve, and he's taking the McLaren seat tonight. But as you can see, it's full wets out there tonight. And, well, yeah, tonight, I guess it makes sense if you're in my part of the globe.
Or mine.
Absolutely. Sorry, Frizy, what was that?
I was just going to say, well, France is looking like my street at the moment. My street at the moment is like the Atlantic Ocean. So,
are you in Queensland, are you?
No, I'm in New South Wales. So that is dangerous.
Yeah, I hear there's a rain bomb coming down there.
Oh, yeah.
Stay safe.
I'm on board with Andy H. He will be the first man to set a lap time. He's coming across the second sector's time split. It's the 59.130. There's the yellow flag middle sector. I think it's just a Mercedes.
Mercedes? I'm guessing Kangaroo Guy. No, it's Dimmer. Yeah, no, here. Yeah, it was Dimmer who spun. Let's go back on board with Andy. As Frizy pointed out, he is the first to likely set a flying lap, although he has eased off bizarrely.
Yeah, he's backed off. I think there's a car park at the final corner, according to the mini map. So
yeah,
it's looking like a Westfield car park at the moment. So
yep.
Yeah, this is going to be like a 2-minute lap time for Andy. So that's not representation of his pace, and then he's
completely stopped actually on track. Maybe this is... Oh, he's drifting. I think he's just flexing, actually, if anything.
Well, that...
No, you're right, mate.
Oh my god, right. What's going on here?
Did you just see Car Gamer and It's Your Boy here?
So, I'm on board Car Gamer. So, there's like 17 cars in this one part of the track here. It's Your Boy spun in front of Car Gamer.
I just saw that. The conditions are horrible out there. Jeez.
Gasly's invalidated.
Hang on a minute.
One man. Everyone's invalidated.
Yeah, everyone's invalidated. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we had at least some sessions, at least one session be wet in every divisions race this week for the Australian divisions anyway? I'm not sure if it's the same for Europe.
Div 2.
I believe
T2 it rained.
Yeah, it rained in Q1 and Q2.
T1 I don't know.
It was raining at the end of the race from what I remember.
Oh, one man has spun at the final corner. Oh, that's...
Yep, I just saw that on board with Urban Growth.
That has perked up the interest right there. And Urban Growth across the line, it's a 46.76.
I reckon that's a little more representative given the treacherous conditions. Hard to say, but as we see, Andy is WRL Andy H is down 0.6 in Sector 2, which is a straight line. So unless he's taking it really easy. As FLX goes second with a 147.0. Yeah, do you feel like these times are oh, never mind.
46. 46. Well, I think they can go a little bit quicker. Oh, it is the wet tyres though. I'm thinking 44s potentially.
I reckon that's going to be outright fastest. I mean, we are seeing some pretty quick people setting times, like consistent and quick people. And we haven't seen some of the big heavy hitters in Div 3 set times yet, like Jushway, for example, our championship leader, still in the garage as it stands. X-Laps is pretty quick too. XRT's third fastest time. It's Your Boy, he's out on a lap, seemingly.
Well,
what's that yellow flag for?
Andy improved. 47.4.
Yeah. So not far off FLX, actually, only 0.4 of a second. But XRT slotted his car into P3. So it's looking good for the Williams right now. First and third, looking really nice there. Stroker Race sets a 2:01.7. Probably not representative, but I gotta say, and if Michael Massey ran the race in these conditions, this would have been a red flag. You'd agree, right?
Well, he did for Belgium, so...
He did for Belgium, yeah. To be fair, Belgium has Eau Rouge, and that's a risky as hell corner, but like, with how rainy this is right now, like, could you imagine them seriously having a quality session in these conditions?
Kangaroo guy nearly loses it at the second last corner. He keeps it on track though. He keeps it on
board
track.
with him.
It's going to be a 46.8. He lost about a tenth and a half there. So what is that? Like a 46, even 6.
5. I reckon he would have gone up the top had he have not made that error.
Yeah,
if I'm gonna be honest.
that could have been. He was slow to middle sector too, so we got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely got to keep an eye on that. But I feel like the rule of thumb is that you going back to what you said before about the times probably going up. You're very likely quite correct with that, because the rule of thumb in wet qualifying sessions is to fill up the car quite a bit more than you would in a dry session, and then have a semi-dryish line be set up for you as you go through the track. Who was that who just crossed the line?
Ooh, that could be a little bit controversial there. Itchy Boy up at the P6. The Mercedes came out at the wrong time for Itchy Boy there, so...
Oh, don't tell me. I'm on board with him now. Don't tell me he's going to get in the way of Dimmer. I really hope he doesn't, because that was not...
literally just coming out of the pits. He literally just coming out of the pits. So...
Yeah, it's super tricky, that pit lane exit. That's a dangerous pit lane exit, honestly, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, Itchy Boy was going to go for a second run. You could tell by the pit straight, but it could be one.
It is what it is.
Could be one for the stewards, as Car Gamer has not set a lap time. Has been out there all this time, invalidated every single lap so far. Oh, and he nearly loses.
Really unstable.
Nearly loses it into the fence.
Yeah, I just got on board with him as you said that, and I was just seeing how unsteady that car looks. It's going to be really interesting to see how this car handles itself through this corner in particular. Actually looks okay.
Yeah, it looks...
Hopefully one man stays out of the way.
Yeah, a little bit better, but he is slow in the second sector, man. It's a minute .01, so... we'll need to find a lot more time. Mad Dog P11, by the way.
Yeah, so the slowest of the runners, he's at a 1:54.7, which I believe was similar to WRL Andy's time, his first flying lap, correct? It was 1:51, I think it was.
Yeah.
But still closer to that than fastest in Q1 as it stands. But, I mean, again, to be fair, we don't know if the conditions are going to improve in this qualifying session. Oh, we've got a Ferrari at spun. It's a Sol-running Ferrari. It is War Machine.
Car Gamer P10.
So decent effort there to get a time set finally after invalidating. Oh, and he spins for good measure. Celebratory donuts.
So here's a question for you. We've got 5.5 minutes, and let's put
6.5 on my end.
I've got 5.5 on my end. So that
they haven't fixed the bug, haven't they?
That is banterous if I've ever seen it. So
they haven't fixed the bug.
So what? Oh, I mean, you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, yep.
I'd like to point out you're coming through on my end. You're coming through on my end.
Interesting.
Yes.
Maybe you haven't included it on the Xbox audio then, maybe. If you check Xbox party settings. And then tick. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I've got no idea, personally.
Well, you're coming through on my end because I can see the Elgato shooting up when everyone talks, so... yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Jishway, sorry, goes fastest.
I am streaming on my PC, so probably the reason why you're coming through, and Xbox on Twitch is just, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But Gasly, on his lap, middle sector chicane, nicely done, hits the apexes beautifully. There's a car getting out of the way, it's Clappy, he's falling out on track, 57.6. That, to me, seems like the quickest time I've seen in the middle sector thus far, so... And
it seems alright. Hard to determine.
This race P1, by the way. 45.9.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mentioned that before. He set a cracker of a lap there. It's, what, 7/10 quicker? Oh, and he spins for good measure. Celebratory donuts once again.
Well,
so it's interesting.
You know what? I had my mic muted the entire time, so that was fantastic. I do apologise.
No, it's all good.
But you'll hear.
No, you're right.
But you'll hear the main commentator. I was going to say, let's play the prediction game. You know, we've got like just over 3 minutes. 3 cars are going to be knocked out. Who are the 3 are going to be knocked out as Gasly goes to
No,
top into the
Gasly.
44s.
Yeah, you were correct then. You were correct with your predictions. 44s was the times that you were expecting everyone to hit, and yeah, accurate prediction there. That's a mighty lap, 1.9 seconds ahead of second. Jeez. Are conditions improving? Anyway, my predictions. I mean, Jish has been a very consistent performer since he joined early season. He wasn't there for the first two races. I think he was there since Imola actually, so he wasn't there for the first race. So I reckon he's a good, safe shout for front row. However, for pole, it's really tricky to say.
Oh, laps is
See
out.
Mad Dog go P3.
Oh, he's done it. He's
What
done
happened
it.
next
He's
lap?
done it in the pit lane. He's done it in the pit lane.
Oh, so he's retired in pits, so he's
Yeah.
comfy with his time.
Oh,
I
just
don't know if...
no, just
Nah,
wait.
he's just ways retired in pits too,
Yep.
yeah.
I was going to say,
was
who do you think will be the bottom three? 16th, 17th, and 18th. Who gets knocked out in his first quali session? As
Clappy will get through. Yeah, I think the 15th, 16th, and 17th will be bottom three, unfortunately. Nothing against them, but I just think if they haven't set times at this point, they're going to really struggle, and they're going to be under even more pressure to set times. And as a result, they might be more prone to making mistakes. That being said...
Ooh, what machine! He's not looking like a machine right now.
Rango Killer goes P3.
Well, mate, Rango Killer could be a one to watch out here in this quali session.
I was going to say, I completely underestimated him, and yet here he is on the second row in Q1, so that's a mighty lap from him there. We're on board with War Machine.
Do we think X-Laps is in trouble here?
Nah, I reckon he'll be fine. Oh, Clappy does go P3. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
So,
Because that was a good lap from Clappy there.
ooh, okay. I'm on tyre strats. Andy is out on inters. In
I'm going to go
13th.
and have a quick look at him. Oh, he's up too. That's interesting. Doing a cheeky tyre swap. Yep, he's up by 1.4 seconds in the second sector. Excellent call out there. We're going to keep an eye on Andy to see if his intermediate swap is good enough to put him fastest in Q1. I was going to say, Boulder, what was your predictions? What do you think is going to be on pole? Who do you think is going to be on pole for this race come Q3?
I don't know. It's a very mixed game at this point. It's you know, the conditions aren't in favour of all drivers at this point. I'd say that Gasly, Crunchy, and Jushway are more comfortable on the wets. You know, they seem like they've got a bit of experience. I'm trying to keep my eye on Urban Growth this round, as I believe that he's got the pace. But no, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to say, sorry to interrupt you there, but Andy does go P5 on the inters, so maybe it's not quite the right time. I mean, maybe there's just a crossover point that they're just about to hit now where the inters are doing wonders, but it's immensely difficult to say. But anyway, we're on board with I'm on board personally with Urban Growth, and he's up by quite a bit in Sector 1, so Frizy once again has done a very accurate prediction here, and like, yeah, we're not sure about Jushway, to be honest. I think Jushway might have retired too early.
Gamer. Oh no! He 1.7 up as well. He is out in his Q1 session.
It's never fun when we see an early out in Q1 from invalidation. Never fun.
One man though, X-Laps could still be in trouble. Stroke Racer, actually War Machine is out there as well. So X-Laps could still be in a little bit of trouble here. If War Machine...
Yeah, I reckon he could be too, honestly, yeah.
Let's see, what's one man?
Oh, War Machine goes purple, but he's eased off considerably going into the corner here.
5.5 tenths up is one man. That's enough to be ahead of X-Laps.
FLX crosses the line, goes P6 on the full wet tyres. Has Andy gotten back out for another lap? No, he's currently running.
Oh, no.
Actually, I don't know.
That's quali done.
That's quali done. We're going to see who gets eliminated. Urban Growth goes P5 with a 144.984. So we're seeing 5 cars in the 144 bracket. So that's pretty good, pretty decent for Q1. As we see a Aston Martin that is spun. It's your boy here. He's sitting in P13 as it stands. He's looking okay. I reckon he'll be safe, but it's tricky to say given Car Gamer is back out another lap.
I'd be
actually,
very
X-Laps
interested in keeping on Kangaroo as he's up. No, he's passed through. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's passed through. Unfortunately, he's only P12, but one man goes P10. X-Laps might have retired too early. He's
Yeah.
sitting down in P15, and everyone behind him is improving by a considerable margin here. War Machine, unfortunately, does not improve. He's at the bottom of the timing sheets with
Strike race. 1.1 up here.
1.1.
He's 1.1 up here. This could get interesting. It's a 48.6, so he needs to find a lot more time in this final sector. The rain has eased off a lot, really, so it is now Inter's time. And across the line...
Let's see what his time is. Oh,
he's
he
out.
only goes up a few places.
It's your boy.
No, he's in.
It's your boy. He's also in trouble.
He's running considerable risk, yeah.
Oh,
Car Gamer nearly invalidated, actually.
That's a bit wide from Car Gamer.
Kept it within track limits. No, I know you can keep it just a fraction wide out there and have 3 wheels out there with no problems, but has It's Your Boy here in X-Laps retired too early? I know It's Your Boy here did spin, but still. That track looks like it's drying up a little bit. Is it just me?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think
that's X-Laps and It's Your Boy here out.
Yeah, they're out. X-Laps retired way too early.
Unfortunate, but of course qualifying is half the effort here. It's half the full event. But anyway, here are your people who are into Q2. So we've got NRL Gasly leading Crunchy Swanman, Clappy, Mad Dog, Urban Growth, WRL Andy H, FLX, Rango Killer, Jishway, One Man, XRT, Kangaroo Guy, Dimmer, Stroke Race, and It's Your Boy here. Eliminated from the session are Car Gamer, X-Laps, and War Machine.
Oh, It's Your Boy does make it in. Car Gamer's the one that has been knocked out.
Yeah, Car Gamer just couldn't make the improvement in the end.
I thought he did a 47-1, so that's why I said nice game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he did too. Honestly, I thought he actually got up there, but. Anyway, It's Your Boy here is very lucky to be able to avoid being eliminated in Q1. Unfortunately for the other 3, they're just going to have to sit out and wait the rest of the session. Let's see if qualifying 2 shares the same heavy rain. Well, I've got my answer, it does. So what do you guys think? What is our top 10 going to look like come the end of this session?
Well, everyone's on Inters, by the way.
Oh, interesting. So it is drying up.
Yeah. I think there might be a shock elimination here. I don't know like the stats of all the the qualifying stats and all that, and who's made in top 10 and all that. But I feel like there's going to be a shock eliminator. I think.
Yeah, I reckon I agree too. Given we've already had one in Q1. There's nothing to suggest that we won't have a shock elimination in Q2. That track that's looking pretty light. I reckon by the end of the session we could be facing a slight chance, like a 25% chance of it actually being good enough for dry tyres.
If that's the case, if drivers if it does dry up, who takes the risk? Who risks
anyone who's outside?
Risks staying on the Inters and not coming out again for another lap?
I say if you're a top 3 on the Inters, I reckon it'd be a 50-50 chance you could stay in Q3. But below that, depending on how close the times are and how big the entry point is to getting into the top 10, yeah, it could be really tight if conditions do change significantly enough. Sorry, I'm just going through.
Well, we got Clappy having a bit of trouble on track at the moment. He's stopped. He's now back on track.
Yeah, I was just on board with Clappy. I think he was just letting, I think it was one man go through. I don't know why. Maybe to get some slipstream on the Michelle Straits. So that could be interesting.
You can see that Deem is using the slipstream off Clappy at the moment to try and... he's invalidated his lap. That's no good for him.
Yeah, not ideal. But to be fair, it is an open lap. It is an out lap, so he does have the luxury of just not having to worry about setting any qualifying pace whatsoever. He can just go around the track, unless he's done it too closely to the start-finish line. In that case, he has to do another lap. As it stands, he should be A-okay.
Here's a thought for you. If it does dry up, who goes on mediums?
If you ask me personally, 13th, 14th, and 15th will make whoever's 13th, 14th, 15th by 5 minutes. If it is dry by 5 minutes, will absolutely put everything into getting in on a dry tire because they've got nothing left to lose at that point. They're already at the bottom of the timing sheets for Q2. They're gonna do their damned hardest to get up there, and yeah, I reckon that will be about it. And if the conditions do change rapidly as they did in Div 2, then yeah, I reckon it'll be everyone.
13th, 14th, 15th to risk it on mediums to get through to Q3 of the mediums, or do you think they'll go on softs?
Softs, honestly, because it won't... if it's raining in the race, it won't really matter. It's hard to say if it will be raining in the race. We've still got no idea what the temperature is going to be for this race.
Yeah.
In fact, I should really check the Twitch chat, but the Twitch chat isn't all that active right now from what I'm seeing, unless it's just continuously disconnecting on my end and I'm not able to see anything. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Sorry, I'm just doing some AFL predictions here.
Thanks to all our viewers that have joined to tune in and watch the rapid racing. We really appreciate you joining, and you know, if you're ever interested, come and join us. Come and have a race.
We have a Discord link that will be periodically posted by the evil Nightbot who bans everyone for spamming emojis and shouting in all caps, which is a little absurd. But Nightbot does share Discord links. I think it's expired, but if you are interested, we will send over a Discord link as one man goes fastest with... Sorry, Clappy goes fastest with a 141.910. So quite a considerable gap there as Dimmer joins one man in the 142.7 bracket. Ranko goes 142.3. Seeing plenty of cars finishing their flying laps. Joker goes 5th with a 144.7. FLX is crossing the line. He goes fastest with a 141.7. So that's the fastest lap we've seen all week. But Urban Growth upset him by a millisecond. 141.787. Couldn't have timed that any closer.
Mad Dog
From
made
what
a
we
mistake.
can see, Crunchy, Lev, Kangaroo, Jish, and Andy are trying to stay in the pits and hope that their conditions improve. That's a big bet on their behalf.
Too. Yeah, big bet, but I reckon there's a 50-50 chance they're waiting on drier, or they're waiting for the track to clear, because most of the cars are out right now. Or, yeah.
We've got
So
Crunchy coming out.
Interesting. He's flying out. Mad Dog did make a mistake, you're right, and he nearly made another mistake heading onto the back straight, so he's definitely struggling out there on the intermediate tyres. He's gone very wide, he's invalidated, in fact. So that is that for him on that attempt. Didn't see Stroke Race improve there. Maybe conditions are getting better. I'm going to see the moisture wicking from the tyres. I'm not seeing a lot of it, but the rain does continue to remain steady. So it's definitely not dry tyre season just yet.
It's your boy P3, by the way.
Yeah, good turnaround there from being P15 and barely getting into Q2. And now he's comfortably up there on the second row. As Clappy goes faster once again with a 141.480. As Kangaroo Guy gets out of the way. Because whoever designed this pit lane exit is an absolute idiot. Like, seriously, it's worse than Imola. Actually, Imola's worse, but this is, like, barely better. Speaking of tracks, what are you both your favourite tracks to race on? I don't really have an answer, so I figured I'd ask both of you guys. We'll start with you, Frizy. What is your favourite?
Baku! DRS is enabled, by the way. So
fascinating. So, yeah,
Baku,
Bowler, you were right then.
Baku is my track.
Look, it's not really an F1 track, but I really wish they did do the Tourfahrt in Nordschleife.
The full one?
Yeah, baby.
Oh, mate, you know how dense they have to make the suspension components in those cars going through some of the bumps there, man. It'd be so cool, don't get me wrong, but goddamn.
Well, talking about that,
effect.
the drama's really warming up this year for the 2022 season. We're seeing a lot of different designs and issues that these teams are trying to overcome.
Mad Dog really struggling. Sorry to go off topic, but Mad Dog is really struggling here. So one man on mediums, Stroke Race on softs, by the way, and Crunchy down the dish tray have all come out at the worst possible time, I feel.
They have indeed, yeah. They're all out on a drying track.
I think the track's bone dry now.
Yeah, it looks like it. It really does. There's probably some periodic little wet patches and it'll be a bit cool, meaning it'll be a bit tricky. Crunchy does go fastest in Sector 1, interestingly enough. I don't know if that's actually a fastest or if that's just the game doing that because it's the game.
I think it's for Mad Dog his gap to Mad Dog. Because when you come out, you'll see the lowest time, which is Mad Dog for Country Swan. So that'll be Purple or Mad Dog's time, not on the actual P1 time.
Yeah, be interesting to see. Yeah, it's just gonna be weird to seeing Swanman do set a lap because it does seem like he's going out there all out on the pace. Do we have a spinner?
Oh!
That sounds like a spinner and a half. What has happened?
No spinner, but Mad Dog and Gasly almost sent each other into the stratosphere there. Oh, Lord.
Gasly does have bad internet, and that has been a source of complaints from a few people, so I do wonder if that's got something to do with it.
This one was not internet, this one was all Mad Dog. So...
yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, okay, Country Swan's in. Lavar will be in. Kangaroo will be in. Yep, he's invalidated. Dishway is in. Andy has not come out. He's still on Inters, so hopefully he hasn't left the session. It just hasn't popped up. And Flex is now out on softs. One man out on mediums. Dimmer out on mediums. And Stroke Race out on soft tyres, which is now interesting. Now that there's only under 6 minutes to go, a lot of drivers coming out on mediums. So that...
Yep, it's going to flood the track.
That says to me... That says to me there's no rain at the start. But we don't know if it's actually going to rain at some point in the race. But from what I can see, it doesn't look like there'll be any rain at the start.
Yeah, no, I don't think there'll be either, given... I mean, of course, it could get heavier with rain in Q3, but of course we have not seen anything to suggest that, and we haven't heard anything that suggests that. I was just going to very quickly go back to the whole 2022 car thing real quick. What are both your favourite liveries from this season so far that's been unveiled? We've seen all 10 unveiled, and I'm divided. I want to see if you guys have a dead set favourite, because I'm super interested in finding that out.
Oh, well, it's very interesting. Look, they've all gone... they've still kept a traditional aspect to their liveries, but they are changing it up this year. And it's very interesting to see them incorporate the new shapes and designs into their liveries and things like that. I really like the McLaren this year. I know that it's you know, it is the McLaren orange.
Yep. The classic McLaren orange at this point.
Yep. You always can't go wrong with the McLaren orange, mate. That's what I always say.
I think there's too much blue in it to be... I mean, I like the shade of blue they've done, but they've kind of taken too much of the orange out for the blue, and
I do agree with that too. The blue wasn't my favourite, but it does... You can see that it does highlight the shapes.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, undeniably. I was going to say, if you ask my personal favourites, mine's, as we see FLX go 5 seconds quicker in Sector 2. Stroke Race sets provisionally the fastest time of Q2, the first on the dry tyres with a 1:34.6. One man goes quicker on a harder compound with a 1:33.8. And my favourite car is the Alfa Romeo, honestly, or the Ferrari. It's very difficult to pick between the two, but those two are tied as my favourite cars right now.
I can see exactly where you're coming from, as I was in tune with the streams, and they were very... you know, they're looking to make moves this year. I'd like to see Ferrari back on there. Probably Ferrari. I'd like to see Ferrari make some more moves this year.
Same.
You know, I don't think Leclerc was expecting Carlos Sainz
to be as good as to be as strong as he was. Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's starting to rain again.
So basically, anyone who's set dry tyre times, they've effectively got themselves into... So basically, the guys who are still waiting to have their time set, and the guys who are setting, like Jishway, for example, starting in Sector 1 now, they're going to suffer massively through this. To be fair, there are people who are still not improving. That being said, Clappy does go through and sets the provisional fastest lap of Q2, the 1:31.656, good enough to be 4/10 ahead of FLX on the harder compound. So that was a mighty lap there from Clappy to get him up there. Yeah, this rain's just absolutely thrown things out once again, I'd say. It's definitely been an unpredictable qualifying session, as we see Rengo we see Rengo go P3 or did we see Stroker go quicker?
No,
Stroker went quicker.
Yeah, Stroker went quicker. One man's in the pits, so his qualifying is officially done. So getting back to the car livery, my favourite is the Williams livery.
Interesting. Okay,
I don't mind
I'm
the
curious.
McLaren, even though McLaren are the team I support. But
Yeah.
Williams, the best livery out of all the liveries shown thus far, and I don't get why people don't like simple things. Are usually better than the artistic,
More complicated
version.
liveries. Yeah. No, I get exactly what you mean. My personal take on it is that the Williams, like its initial car reveal with the stock 2022 chassis didn't look all that good, but when they did the track day at Silverstone and then they did Barcelona testing, that thing really started to shine. I think that thing is really nice. And yeah, I had a complete 180 on my thoughts on it because of the Barcelona testing single-handedly, I'd say.
It's
Dishway's P7.
It's too wet. It's too
Yeah,
wet.
it's too wet.
It's too wet.
I reckon there's going to be some brave souls who, if they're still out there on the soft tyre, which none of them are from what I can see, they are not going to improve. Clappy does retire from session. Smart move to retire from session now, as it is getting more rainier.
Oh, laps. Hopefully, can get back in. One man's back out on track.
I was going to say, if you guys can, could one of you two invite X-Labs back? Because if it's an internet connection or if he's
Don't
just
worry, I'm
randomly
on it,
chosen
man.
to leave. Alright, awesome. Cheers. Can I get my hoot lap? Oh, I didn't see where your hot lap was, mate. The chat wasn't fucking working for me, so I didn't see Collapse's hot lap. I do apologise for that. For whatever reason, my phone just went no.
Yeah, it's too wet. Yeah, way too wet.
Yep, you can see rain just sitting pretty on the track. It's your boy here did really well though to clutch a P4 there. I don't know what he's doing holding up XRT, but if there's anything malicious going on there, I don't know. I don't know if he held them up, but they've got invalidated laps.
Yeah,
Both do, I think.
I don't know what happened there. So qualifying has ended on my end, so I'm probably ahead again. So that is banterous. Not sure how long.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dimmer.
Oh, dimmer.
Dimmer.
We both just saw that. What a spin that was.
I tell you what,
He's
I'm
currently-
very interested to see the strategy plays that these drivers are going to have to put in place
Especially
now.
if Yeah, you're right. Especially if it continues to rain and then dry, rain, dry, like it did.
Exactly,
So-
it's very unpredictable at this point.
So in the top 10, only 2 drivers is starting on softs, which is Itchy Boy and Flex. So everyone else is starting on the mediums, but 11th down, if they're going to go the esports route, they'll be starting on the hards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Timmer,
I just
you
want
don't
to add.
want a DNF. You do not want a DNF. The P11 is the OP
It's
strategy.
second pole, as Pajala calls it. It is second pole. Doing donuts around the track if it dries up is rather bad. Maybe he doesn't realise that. He's just damaged his rear wing.
Yep, that's his. Yep, well, he's out. He's out anyway. So, luckily,
I just want to add real quick. The hot lap request from Claps was you, Frizy, commentating a lap of Andy. Of course, we will do that in Q3 as we do not have the time to commit to any new laps as qualifying 2 has just finished. But of course, in Q3, when he's doing his hot lap, Frizy, you take over and you do the shots. You do the shots on the comms for the hot lap, mate.
mate.
I'll let you know when it comes along.
Who wants to listen to a second-rate commentator? You should want
Mate.
you should want the main commentator, which is the Greek god himself.
Noodles.
Nah,
Hey, they
Romulus.
requested you, mate. Oh, I'm flattered. But hey, they requested you, mate. You're doing well. You're doing well as a commentator to be requested. I don't get requested to do stuff sometimes. I don't even get requests some races. And so the fact we've got one, that's good. Anyway, I want to go through the top 10. And as it stands, we've got Andy currently fastest on the medium compound tyres in a rather wet, dry, wet qualifying. So rather bizarre and rather unique. I haven't quite seen anything like that before in the game. Clappy P2 alongside him on the front row with Urban Growth, It's Your Boy here, Mad Dog, FLX, Jishway, Kangaroo Guy, Crunchy Swimman, and Rango Killer in the top 10. Eliminated from the session are Dimmer, Stroker, XRT, One Man, and Gasly. So fastest in Q1 is out in Q2. Last in Q2, I might add. Would you have predicted that top 10 at the start of this session?
So are we saying there is a shock eliminator? Do we think
I
XRT,
personally feel like
Gasly?
Dimmer and Gasly are shock exits. I mean, Dimmer hasn't raced in a while, but for him to only be P11 is pretty good. But Gasly going fastest in Q1 to being out and last of the Q2 runners is quite a shock to me.
Well, I tell you what, that was the last thing he was expecting, was to, go for pole and then, be knocked the whole way back.
Oh, I agree. X-Laps is left once again, weirdly enough. I forgot to mention that Urban Growth and It's Your Boy here, both teammates in last season's Division 3, which was the first season of Division 3, I might add. They both set identical times on different compounds, which is not something you see every day, I gotta say. Kind of love it.
Mad Dog's just like 2 milliseconds behind both of them, so...
Yeah, super close in that top 5. I don't know what we're waiting on, but...
I so laugh if it's the host thing again.
No, we're
Even though
waiting on Car Gamer, I think.
Okay, cool.
Car Gamer, okay.
Alright, thank you for letting us know. Poor X-Laps, the game's having problems. Restart your Xbox, mate, if you can.
Yeah.
Just restart your Xbox, simple as that. I got a message from Claps. Okay, yep, that was just regarding someone who was reserving tonight. That's okay, it's not nothing incriminating or nothing negative, just telling me someone's preference, which is fine. If the seat's available and you're reserving and you have a preference for a certain seat, I'll usually give it to you. That's what I usually do.
That's the other thing. If anyone's tuning in that doesn't regularly race with us, we're always looking for new members, and we're always very keen to let someone have the opportunity to race with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a variety of social media links. We've got a Discord, we've got a YouTube, we've got Facebook, and we've got Instagram, all run by different people. I believe the Facebook's run by Rapid Bajala. I know the Insta is run by Rapid Hendo on the European side. So that's pretty cool to see. We're having different people run different things. The Twitch is obviously run by a variety of commentators tonight, which is yours truly, along with Frizy and Boulderita. They have joined, and again, I'll say again, it's good to have you guys with me. It's been a lot of fun so far. It's been fun just talking about the cars for this season, upcoming season, and just seeing this chaotic qualifying session unfold.
No, well, it's greatly appreciated.
Are we still waiting on Car Gamer?
I believe we are.
Everybody's loaded in. Someone must have lagged out. Might be
Post glitch, apparently.
Mate, it's probably me.
Maybe. Are you even in the game?
I'm spectating.
Yeah, maybe see what happens if you leave, and then rejoin. And
Yep.
obviously just join off me.
Yep.
And there should have been a countdown already.
What do you guys think in the change in driving when it comes to closer wheel-to-wheel racing?
I reckon it's believe it when we see it sort of thing. Hard to say.
Yep. No, I agree with that. I've been watching a lot of the media recently, and most of the drivers have said that even when they're in close quarters together, they are finding it hard to catch up on each other. The slipstream effect isn't as prominent as the last seasons before it.
Yeah, sorry, I've just paused the stream just briefly because apparently it is a host glitch.
No, all good.
Okay.
If it hasn't gone through, then it might be you, Frizy.
I don't see why.
Can I have an invite to go through with this? Can I just have an invite,
yeah.
please?
You left. Yep, it was you.
Easy peasy. Yep, I see that. Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Invite.
I'm glad we got that
There's
fixed.
an invite.
I'm very annoyed that. Thank you. I'm quite annoyed it was my end again. I don't know why the game does that. They really should be looking into that.
Oh, it's right.
But,
Yeah, it's back raining again.
Yep, thought it'd continue to get worse.
Yeah. Well, apparently the latest patch, they said they patched it up, so that is fantastic. Even though it
Streamed out.
it hasn't. So press X to doubt, ladies and gentlemen. Press X.
Yes,
to
press
doubt.
X to doubt indeed. Good old LA Noire. I have the Nintendo Switch version of that game, and it's quite a cracking game. I am back on board live with Rapid Clappy in the Alfa Romeo. We are watching him exit the pit lane along with what the sole running Haas of Jishway. Unfortunately for X-Laps, he was eliminated in Q1 due to changeable conditions throwing out. I mean, that's generally been the theme of this qualifying session, is changeable conditions throwing off quite a few drivers and surprising quite a few of us, even the people racing right now. Omar Rose says, when did War qualify? And is War?
It's War Machine.
War Machine. Yeah, he qualified last,
18th.
unfortunately.
And last.
18th, which...
Yeah.
Checking this AFL chat I'm a part of, because of course it's all starting up pretty soon, so I'm excited for that season. Do either of you guys follow AFL? I understand, Fraser, you're a New South Welshman, so I don't know if AFL's
I do.
your thing.
I do.
What club?
Port Adelaide.
Port Adelaide.
Port Adelaide, my guy. Since
okay.
the year until 99. Since 1990.
Wait, I'm definitely by far the youngest here.
Yep.
I'm 23.
Yep. 1992. I was born in. So I am 28.
I was gonna say, Boulder. Do you follow AFL at all? Or?
Well, in all honesty, I'm not going to admit that I don't follow footy because that would be un-Australian. But I'm not the biggest fan.
No, fair enough. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, I do follow the Magpies. Go the Pies.
Oh my
fair
God,
enough, mate.
I feel
yeah. I was gonna say the Port Adelaide Magpies. Yeah, oops.
So
yeah,
I'll go wash my hands. I'm a dirty boy.
I'm from Melbourne, obviously, so and I'm a GWS supporter. So I'm.
How does that work?
That's interesting.
Trust me, mate. I don't. Big sound, mate. I've got tons of Giants merch everywhere, and I'm a big Giants fan.
Are they even a good team?
It is what it is. They are. They got 6th last year. They got in the top 6.
I didn't know that.
And we got into the preliminary final. I think it was preliminary final. So FLX says Hawkesbury live in Western Australia. Now that's interesting because Pinju is a Queenslander and he's a Hawk supporter. So Rapid Pinju's.
I follow all football. I follow. Sorry
EPL too.
Sorry for the Europeans. Soccer / football.
I
follow AFL and I follow NRL as well.
XLAP says Swans all the way, so I suspect Swans. Oh well, hang on. I guess because there's a Swans supporter that I'm very close with, who him and I have like a semi-bitter but in good-natured rivalry, and I don't know if it's actually like a genuine thing to have a rivalry with Sydney, given there's 2 Sydney clubs. But anyway, it's just interesting to see. But do you follow EPL, Fraser?
I do.
So what club do you support there in EPL?
Liverpool since 1998.
Fuck, I'm a West Ham supporter, so...
Oh yeah, good luck to you, my guy.
Yeah, they need to keep ahead of Arsenal, and to beat Man United somehow. And Tottenham.
Yep.
And anyone else below that, because I reckon we're just gonna shit the bed.
I mean, in all honesty, I'm not like I follow soccer more than I follow AFL, but I still don't really follow it much. I'm an Arsenal fan, although I know they're not a good team. But yeah, I mean, sports this year are going to be very interesting. Let's hope that the current events don't really impact that, and we can see more events opening up, and more of the public can come and see things.
I absolutely agree with you there. I was lucky enough last year to attend a few AFL games, and they were a wonderful experience. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to change the topic very rapidly. But we are seeing times pour in, and we're seeing Jushway currently set the provisional pole time of a 140.8 in intermediate conditions. Further down the field, we've got Urban Growth sitting in P2 with a 141.728, with Mad Dog P3, Rango P4, and Swanman P5. What did you find, Frizzy?
Oh, Kangaroo guy, all level shot. He invalidated, I think, at turns 1 and 2, I think. And was trying to get
shot the braking zone.
Was trying to get out of the way of Andy, but he went off track and broke some braking boards. So the rest of this qualifying session going to be interesting with the braking markers on the Michelle
I mean,
straight.
not everyone relies on the braking markers. I found. I think, especially in the lower divisions, they'll usually just use the braking line that's on the track. That's like artificially put in there to help people at least get comfortable with the braking zones. I know I still use it, not because I can't brake in those zones, but I just use it as a comfort thing. Because I'm focusing on too many other things at once to really kind of go, eh. But I was just going to say, Clappy went quickest for a bit, and then Jishway actually just pipped him there. And it's the closest the gaps between these two. Hopefully Jishway's gone comfortably out of the way for Clappy. So hopefully Clappy feels he's had enough space. He has, absolutely indeed. We see open growth considerably slower in Sector 2.
Kangaroo Guy has got this and next lap of validation, so...
That's mighty unfortunate. I was going to say, Andy is out on track. When he comes around Sector 3, Frizy, it is you are taking over for the hot lap. The Frizy hot lap, as Pajala should probably set a setting for. We should actually have hot laps for everyone, honestly. I don't think I'd get many because I can't do the track names properly.
Oh, I don't either.
I can't do the... what? It's just fun to just talk. It's fun to just talk over laps and see how good people do there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll come back on Andy. Hopefully he stays out, got enough fuel for another run. Well, there's 5 minutes to go, so he might just come back in, refuel, and put fresh inters on. Who knows?
Ooh, Swanman spins at turn 5, I believe it is. So he got very lucky there to not do a mix Schumacher did in France last year and bin it in the wall there.
Before we go on, right?
Yes.
Let's play the prediction game again. Who gets pole?
Jishway or Clappy. It's actually I don't know, but I do feel like Jishway will comfortably get it. Clappy's definitely one to consider though. As you can see, the gap between him and Jishway is very minimal, under a tenth. Everyone around him so far just hasn't really shown their hands yet with their laps. As we see, Andy has invalidated. Speaking of which, he's actually just diving straight into the pit lane. So
yeah, I figured
there might be a slim chance we won't see a lap from him.
I figured he will do that. Kangaroo Guy he's crossed the line, but he's got it. Hang on, it might be me. No,
he's invalidated, mate. It's not just you. He's invalidated. He had a 146.
He hasn't, but he didn't cut any corners to make it this and next lap. You know, so
That's bizarre. So poor dude's been stuck in track limit violation purgatory.
Might just have to come in. And
I just want to say also, X-Laps has reported in what the weather will be like for this race. He says it's dry to wet, which mirrors Div 2, interestingly enough.
So we're starting off dry. So yeah, I can see why everybody came in.
Which makes the whole thing of people setting their times on soft tyres in Q2, that's worked out really badly for them if they've gotten into the top 10.
Well, it depends.
Clappy nearly colliding with It's Your Boy here. Jeez, that got close.
Well,
what was Clappy doing?
It depends on when the rain comes too. So
yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I was just going to say, that was super close between It's Your Boy here and Clappy. It's Your Boy had to get out of the way to avoid colliding with Rapid Clappy there. Clappy should have probably paid a bit more attention to when he was coming out, unless his pit exit is automatic, and in that case there was not really much he could do. But we've kept that on file, we've seen that live. If there are any stewards reports about that, I have seen it as it is. As we see, Kangaroo Guy's invalidated once again, so that's very unlucky for him.
Kanga's not having a good night, is he?
No, I mean, he's in Q3 to his credit, so he's definitely done good.
Yeah.
He's definitely done well. But he's just had so many invalidated laps. It's just trying to find the right rhythm.
Let's see if he can actually start a lap.
He's lost traction.
He lost traction just a little bit, but that's okay. The exit of that straight is only one part of many parts in this circuit.
He can actually set a lap time this time.
Go straight through turns 1 and 2. That's a nice entry into turn 1. Turn 2, he mounts a bit too much of that curb, but somehow manages to avoid invalidating. We go further down, his car is close to the edge of the track limits as you'd want.
Yeah, he's trying to use every inch of that track to try and build that delta.
Exactly, he's trying to get the absolute most he can, And let's see how he handles these next set of corners. This corner in particular has thrown out a lot of people in this qualifying session tonight. And we are now back onto the back straight, and we are going to attentively watch and see what his top speed tops out at. Will it be above 310? No, 309, so I reckon it's quite slow for that. But WRL Andy retires from session, having set the 5th fastest time. So, unfortunately for Clappy, I'm sorry mate, but we didn't get the hot lap you wanted, but I'm doing Kangaroo Guys anyway. And also Jushway curiously retires from provisional pole. He feels his time is good enough, so maybe the track has gotten worse. Do you guys think the track's gotten worse at all? Or has it stayed roughly the same?
I think the rain has come down just a little bit heavier, but I think inters are still to play. I'm just on board with Itchy Boy here, currently in P10, onto the missile straight here. It's not the greatest of starts, but, you know, it's something. I think he might beat Andy, but not with that line through the chicane.
No, he probably won't, unfortunately. But we'll see anyway
won't.
what he does.
We got Urban on the
he might
flying lap. He's coming in hot, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, he's only 2/10 down actually in Sector 1, so we'll see how he handles Sector 2 as Mad Dog retires on the 4th row of the grid. Urban Growth nearly lost the rear end there, exiting onto the second part of the main straight. If you ask me personally, it should just be flat. There shouldn't be the chicane there. That's the way they do it in GT racing. They should do it in F1. The runoff's wide enough for any potential incidents. Kangaroo Guy retires from P7, having set the 7th fastest time of the session, and we're on board with It's Your Boy here, going through the last 2 corners for the long run to the start-finish straight. So as he goes through, he goes a bit wide through that apex.
Clappy! Oh, I think he just thrown pole away. I think Clappy's just thrown pole away here.
It's Your Boy here. Starts P10. Yeah, I reckon he did. He's just 2/10 off pole position there. Jishway's prediction has been proven accurate, unless Urban Growth can do something about it. But he's past the DRS board at 1 minute 40. So unless Flex or FLX can do something about it, Jishway is our provisional pole sitter. But of course, I'm not going to call it now. We've still got one car out on track. And of course, this one car could shatter that pole position for Jishway. Poor old Clappy, he said he was up 3/10, so he would have gotten pole had it not been for that mistake. Thank you, Frizy, for pointing that out. Both you, Frizy and Boulder, for pointing out the various mistakes that we've seen on track so far. FLX crosses the line, goes P6.
Can't tell whether it's my delusions, but it's as if the conditions are worsening even more, and it'd be interesting to see if it changes for the race.
I've heard from X-Laps that it's dry to wet. But anyway, these are your top 10 for today's race. We've got Jushway on pole position once again. Is there anything stopping the championship leader in Div 3? He's been unstoppable in this mid part of the season. Further down the field, we've got Rapid Clappy alongside him on the front row, with Crunchy Swanman and Urban Growth taking out row 2. Row 3 is accommodated by the Aston Martin and McLarens of WRL, Andy H and FLX respectively. Kangaroo Guy and Mad Dog round out row 4, and then in row 5 are Rango Killer and It's Your Boy here. You guys shocked at that pole position predictions? Is there any unexpected?
No, I would have said at the start, I would have just went Kangaroo Guy, but yeah, he just could not get a lap in to save his life, unfortunately. P7, it's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting, and it'll be extra interesting given it's a dry race. I wonder if anyone's adapted their setups to be wet setups, which usually in this game would entail, simply put, just high downforce and higher, just like differential lock and all that sort of thing, or lower, yeah, maybe higher, just to prevent the rears from spinning out. I'm not that technical with diffs, so I don't quite know how they work, unfortunately.
But if it's also raining for the race, you probably want a wet setup for the end, because
thing is though is that we don't know when it's raining.
Yeah,
we were told
that's what I mean.
X-Laps.
Like if it's raining at the end, you want to have your wet setup on at the end instead of the start. It's real tricky. You want to go half and half, like half dry, half wet, you know?
Yeah. No, fair enough. I'm super curious. I'm just super curious to see how the formation lap will go, because I've enabled formation laps since Baku, which has been 2 rounds now, and we've seemingly managed to avoid a few incidents so far. That being said, you can't really invalidate your outlaps. The only thing you can do is the only reason why you can get disqualified is
Hit.
just bump into someone
Yeah.
else, and there's plenty of tarmac runoff. So
do we think someone is going into space at turn 1?
I'd say it's like 50-50, given the narrow nature. Like, the start-finish straight's pretty wide. The narrow nature of turn 1 and turn 2 will likely entail some form of impact, I'd say. I just don't know how severe, or if it will take someone out on lap 1. As we see the front row sitters taking the lead, although Crunchy Swanman is not far alongside. I reckon we're actually going to see someone actually get disqualified or to be taken back to the start-finish line. I'd like to envision that someone just magically tows them straight back out of thin air. As we see all the cars slowly but surely. Boulder Eater, you're in the race, mate.
Oh, am I?
You
yes.
are. You're P19, mate.
I'm gonna win.
Are you eyes on the ground, are you?
Yes, on the inboard camera.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Just keep it clean, take it easy, and yeah, I'll allow that because no one took the second Red Bull seat tonight, so that's perfectly fine on my end.
No promises, buddy. This one's for Ukraine.
Yes. Yes. Solidarity to Ukraine.
So Greek
Frizy, what were you saying?
God, 11th
Noodles.
11th 11th down. No one took taking the hards, which is interesting. So that says that the rain could be a lot shorter than what we're thinking.
I want to say though, FLX is P6 on the soft tyres. Actually, it's your boy who's P10 on the soft tyres.
Yeah,
so that's not great at all.
Yeah, they qualified on the softs, but I think Flexo might be in a better position than Itchy Boy. Only the fact, I don't know what Flex's pace is like, but I know Itchy Boy's pace, and he's raced a lot of these guys as well in another league. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for Itchy Boy, but Flex could be the one to watch out here, especially at the start here. If he gets a good launch, he could overtake Andy, potentially his teammate. We might see some team orders. You know?
Usually there aren't that many team orders. If there are team orders, it usually involves when people crash into each other, you know, ordering them out of the race, so to say. Anyway, we're seeing the cars gradually line up onto the start-finish straight in their respective grid slots. We have 19 cars on this grid tonight, with 18 taking part in qualifying, and a surprising 19th addition, thanks to Eyes on the Ground Boulder Eater, who has opted to take part in the race. He's fine, he's a Div 3 reserve, and there was a free slot. I'll let that slide. Anyway, 5 lights. They're kind of hard to see from this camera angle. They're even harder to see from this one. But 5 lights.
Lights out,
and we're off.
away
Car
we
Gamer
go.
has a drive-through penalty for jump starting there, so that's gone awfully wrong for Car Gamer. But as we go through turn 1 and turn 2, Crunchy Swanman gets ahead of Rapid Clappy in turn to turn 1. And you can see it stays stable. Urban Growth gains a place, but is side-by-side with Andy. As those two continue down side-by-side to turn 3, there's a car going very wide over the turn 2 exit there. And NRL Gasly gains a place off XRT, who's gone down quite a bit on the grid. And we're seeing a damaged Alfa Romeo and a damaged Mercedes-Benz. It's Car Gamer and Dimmer. And there's an Alpine down there for good measure as well of Rango Killer. So I don't know what happened there between all those guys as we see a spinner of X-Laps. So all that good work has just undone itself in the space of a single sector. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have to make up all that effort once again. But as it stands, the lead stays steady with Jishway, Swanman and Clappy rounding out your top 3. Just saw Dimmer and XRT exchanging places. We're on board with Dimmer right now. XRT and Dimmer give each other enough room. It narrows out a little bit as we head down here. Oh, the slight contact between the two. I don't know what Dimmer's doing. He's getting super close to Lev XRT there. You need to give him a little bit more room than that. As you can see, XRT is 2 wheels off the track. So that's cutting it fine just a bit. And poor Car Gamer, drive-through penalty and a front wing change needed. He's going to be very far down the grid. See Boulder Eater gaining 2 places. I think slight contact between him and X-Laps. Oh, slight contact once again. X-Laps did attempt to make a move on the outside line there. And we see Boulder Eater getting back into this line there, holding off Rango Killer as we see contact further up a field, I'm guessing.
Oh, a stroke race, one man. Oh, that could have been
And
The
you
nasty.
Alpha Taras
these
and the Red
points are
Bulls
gonna
side by
count for me,
side.
or
Sorry,
you
what?
think these points will count if I make a good position?
Yeah, they should. They should. I suspect they should. I'd be surprised they didn't. I'd be so shocked if they didn't.
I would like to point out, I think Clappy also might have got some wing damage from the lap 1 incident with Crunch Swan at turn 1.
Yeah, there was an incident between the two.
Yeah.
Was there really an incident between
Yeah.
Swanman and... I thought Swanman got ahead quite comfortably.
Yeah, but in the braking zone, Clappy hits the back of Crunchy Swan and damage his front wing. So, potential front wing, maybe, but it doesn't look like
on lap 2... Oh, Clappy made a nice move there on Swanman, but breaks a little bit late there, and unfortunately gets a bit... and a slight contact between him. Hopefully they keep it clean, but there's slight contact between these two, and as a result, they continue side by side, heading onto the fast right-hander. Clappy, does he stay ahead? The cameras won't tell us, and he just fractionally... Oh, and he nearly loses the rear there.
He's red Xing.
And
He's red Xing.
oh yeah, he's disconnecting like a mad motherfucker. He's down in P8 apparently already, so I don't know what's going on there. He might teleport back up the grid, but he has apparently lagged out massively or has lost control of that car. Is War Machine our GOAT? Well, he's gained quite a few places. And speaking of gaining places, we're going to check the we're going to check the position changes chart here. As we see, Clappy has lost the most positions. Tentatively, hard to say if he actually has or not, or if it's his internet. Juiceway sets the fastest lap at 1:34.651. Clappy's now lost 6 positions, with Rango Killer losing 7 and Stroke Race losing 5 since round 1. So we see Boulder Reader not far behind him actually, and Car Gamer not actually all that far behind. I don't think he has done his drive-through penalty though. I don't think that counted. So he might have to go and do that again. But we already have 2 people with penalties on lap 3 of 27, which are Dimmer and FLX0, who are sitting P5 and P13 respectively. So what are you guys' thoughts on that start?
So Flex is really struggling on those softs. I think the tyres are just cooking like an absolute sausage right now.
Do you think it's setup related, or do you just think it's just the nature of this track?
I think a bit of both, because the mediums are the tyre to be on.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kangaroo Guy's just gotten ahead of him there, and Kangaroo Guy's running on the medium tyres, and he's immediately lost ground, and now has Mad Dog for company in the rearview mirror. Hopefully FLX can give him room there. Gonna go back on board. Oh, they are super close. Yeah, he does. Harsh but fair. Oh, it's super close. They continue side by side. Does Mad Dog get ahead of FLX? He does indeed. That was a brilliant move from Mad Dog there. Good respect between those two as FLX makes a mad dive up the inside to try to get back in front, but unfortunately fails to do so and remains P7 with Clappy behind him for company. Will Clappy make a move on the ailing McLaren? What do you think, Frizy? Do you think they will?
What was that, sorry?
Do you think Clappy will get ahead of FLX by the DRS zone or later?
DRS is open, so yeah.
Unfortunately, FLX has DRS open, so it makes it a bit trickier. Mad Dog did a really good job to hold off, though, and Kangaroo Guy set the fastest lap of the race. I gotta say, shout out to WRL Andy H. He's done really good to hold out that start, gain 1 place. As Mad Dog gains a 3-second time penalty for warnings, and it's your boy here gains 1 too, interestingly enough, on the same corner. He is joining the battle pack of 6th to 9th place, which is very nice. And we see one man rounding out the points paying positions in P10 with his teammate Anurag Gasly in P11. XRT struggling behind him.
We've got Andy catching Urban on the straight. He's trying to make a move.
Oh yes, he is. I tried, but it's very tricky to get a proper moveset.
Just not enough time. He's going to catch him on this one though.
Oh, FLX and Mad Dog are swapped positions.
Yep. This is going to taste his. Andy has finally made a move on Urban, but this is the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's your boy and Clappy do have popcorn. Now Clappy's getting involved. Oh my God! It's your boy slams onto the brakes. Oh, that
to avoid contact there.
That could have been
Mad Dog keep ahead.
Absolute disaster. It's your boy stays in P9. Mad Dog makes a bit of mistake.
Contact.
It's your boy. You
know what? Okay, it's your boy who dives straight into the pits after getting another 3-second penalty. So that's bad luck for him. Very rough, but it was as close. It was as close to as dirty, but somehow clean as you want to get. Bit of contact there between those guys.
Yeah, I don't think there was any malicious to it. I think it's a bit of wheel barging.
Yeah,
you
four
know.
cars as well. You got to expect that. You know,
Yeah.
4 cars going through those sequences of corners. You're going to expect contact at some point. We've got Urban Growth losing another place, this time to Kangaroo Guy. So as it stands, Dishway still leads comfortably. And we're going to go back to the interval timing here. 2.5 seconds between him and Crunchy, with Andy a further 1.4 seconds back in P3. Kangaroo Guy isn't too far from him, but Urban Growth has got DRS and will likely be making an effort to get 4th place back from the Kangaroo Guy. Clappy has done a good job to hold off FLX so far, as One Man and Gasly exchange positions going into the chicane.
Yeah, I think better team orders there, and Clappy does get a time penalty, so that's one to watch out for.
Yep, very unlucky to get that. Only 5 laps in.
7 drivers have penalties.
Now that Jish is building up his bit of breathing room, he needs to concentrate on reserving his tyres over this race, because it's going to get very interesting when we see people swap onto the softs and mediums, you know?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It's going to get incredibly interesting as we head into the pit stop window, because again, we've seen people already divert their strategies around. As we see, it's a boy here did pit earlier than anyone else, and we're on board with War Machine, who's currently sitting P13. He's gone very wide around the second to last corner. Flex gains a 5-second penalty. That might be related to It's Boy here taking out the pit lane wall, the pit lane limiter line board, which. If he did that intentionally, is kind of a dog act, if I'm going to be honest. Not ideal. And hopefully it doesn't catch at anyone else.
Jish is still holding that gap. He's doing well at this point. He just needs to keep on track.
Yep, absolutely. He's been keeping steady. If anything, he's actually gained slightly from Kangaroo Guy, actually. The gap's now nearly 2 seconds. I'm on board with Dimmer, and the gap between those two, we're seeing a yellow flag at the turn 1 point. That could be FLX or Stroke a Race. I don't know, if I'm going to be honest. But Dimmer does have DRS and ERS, and he's going to try get ahead of XRT into the braking zone at the chicane. Side by side they go. Who brakes later? XRT brakes later and keeps P10. But Dimmer makes a slightly opportunistic move. It doesn't quite pay off for him. He still remains behind XRT. Somewhere in all of that, War Machine gained another place. I don't know if that was from FLX pitting.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
So, I'd like to point out too, It's Your Boy gets ahead of Flex, by the way. So it looks
that's super interesting.
So
actually,
it looks like the undercut is the way to go around here. So that's going to be interesting to see when people decide to pit for either new dries or inters.
Oh, It's Your Boy here makes a move on Rango Killer. Sorry to interrupt you there. He made a really brave dive on the outside line there, and just comfortably got ahead of Rango Killer. It's like Rango Killer was kind of caught napping there, if I'm going to be honest. But sorry, continue with what you were saying before.
I was just going to say, it looks like the undercut is the way to go here. Who's going to pit on for new dries or potentially new inters, as WRL Andy just lets Kangaroo Guy through and absolutely blocks Urban Growth like no tomorrow.
Do you believe that was malicious?
No, I think... It's weird. It's weird to describe how it went down. So Kangaroo Guy was chasing down Andy into the second chicane before the double right-hander, and he just came back on track in front of Urban. So doesn't look like Urban got any damage from that. So he might be very, very lucky about that.
Yeah, you could tell that Andy
I
just took his foot off the gas. Kanga did have a better exit on the last few turns before that, and that's where he's caught his pace on him. A bit too much pressure for Andy. But
yeah, I mean, it is Andy's second race, and he was in Div 1 last night, so it's...
Oh, well, he's doing very well in that Aston. Aston's keeping up with the leader, and that's it's very good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. The top 5 are currently, as it stands, with 20 laps left to run, without penalties. Touch wood. Where's the wooden part of my bed? There you go. That sounded like that hurt. It didn't. Top 5 have avoided penalties. War Machine gains a 3-second time penalty. I don't know. He might have maybe mounted the curb a little too much there, on the outside there. But we're now on board with X-Laps, who is sitting P13. He's gained places, but he's nowhere near where he feels he wants to be. I know he's got the pace, and so far into this race, I reckon he's going to be gambling on the rain coming sooner than expected. I reckon It's Your Boy here will feel the same way.
Andy
But
doesn't
it
have
does appear.
Andy doesn't have the
Yes,
pace
continue,
on
sorry.
Kanga, but he's trying to use every inch of this track to try and get up on him at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That battle pack between Kangaroo Guy and Andy's becoming Urban Growth and Clappy. They're both joining in on the action as well. They're going to be draining through their ERS and DRS reserves as we see Clappy in P6 with just a fraction over 10%, over like a percent over 10%, or a few percentages over that. And he's already showing a yellow fuel thing there, so he's underfueled the car, as has Andy H actually.
Crunchy Swanman as well has got yellow fuel.
Interesting.
So
anyone underfueled further down the field as
Ooh.
Kangaroo Guy gains a 3-second time penalty?
That's interesting.
We got Jish coming up
Yeah.
on me as a, blue flag. This will be interesting to see whether any incidents happen this lap.
I do not. Yeah, I was gonna say he's going through sector 3, and you're going through sector 2 right now.
No, he's not. He's not. If you go on board with Bold, he's at the final corner.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I don't know
Sector 3,
why
far corner.
why my AI is having some trouble, but it's pretty realistic.
Oh, we have the AI down pretty low. Simply put.
It's pretty on point for my driving, I'll tell you that.
You'll be alright, mate. You'll be alright. It's still plenty of this race left to go. As we continue on board with Jishway, he continues to lead this race on lap 9 of 27. He has led every lap of this race so far. And were you going to say something there, Frizy? You sound like you were going to say something there.
No, I was just going to say, 9 laps in, round of applause, no safety car as yet. No DNFs. There's been some incidents, but no DNFs yet. 9 laps in, no safety cars, not even a virtual. So, it's not too bad. Maybe they saw I was coming in. They started to put on a show.
They're like, we got to be cleaner, boys. No, they've been pretty good. They've been improving this season. I'll give them that. There's been some races where it's been pretty bad because Div 3 is a bit more reckless than the Div 1 and Div 2. Like Div 1 and Div 2. I don't know if you and I would share the same perspective, Frizy, but I feel like the midfield of Div 1 could easily fit into the mid-top end of Div 2, and they could swap each other out and all that sort of thing. There's an interchangeable level between those divisions, whereas Div 3 is a little bit further behind there. In the midfield.
If you're just talking about midfield, I think a couple of Div 3 drivers could be up there in Div 2.
I'm inclined to agree. Top 3 as it stands could definitely be up there. No
Urban could be up there as well. Mad Dog as well. Lavar could be up there.
Yeah.
A car gamer as well. Rango. Thereabouts. Stroke race. It's a little bit interesting as Mad Dog's into the lane, which is interesting.
Yeah, on lap 10 of all laps. Considering everyone else is seemingly pretty comfy on those medium tyres, as we see the Alpha Tauris didn't quite swap positions. It looked like they did. And War Machine goes up into P11, so he's had a quite consistent race there. Slowly nipping away at the positions as we go back further up the field. The pack that's forming around the fight for P3 continues to increase. I believe NRL Gasly's slowly but surely reeling in those four, and is getting into the action himself. As we see CRT Harvey, nice acronym there, CRT, good old CRT televisions, up the Jishway. Absolutely, mate. He's been unstoppable so far. 2.5 second gap between him and Crunchy Swanman. 2.7 now, as we see the Alpha Tauris exchange positions on the back straight before the chicane once again. They've done this a couple of times already, actually, which is rather interesting. Are they racing just each other?
Yeah.
Or are they keeping each other?
Yeah, they are. They're racing each other. They're trying to stay away from that Mercedes of Dimmer and Lavar battle. Just using the DRS of each other.
We got Jish spun.
Jish spun.
Yeah, Jish
wow.
has spun.
He spun on that same corner he spun in qualifying.
Are we thinking the mediums are not the race tyre anymore? Do we think...
difficult to say, but he has lost
is that a puncture?
positions as a result.
No, it's not a puncture.
No, it's not, fortunately, but him and Clappy do pit. The front row drivers are both pitting at the same time, and that leaves Crunchy Swanman to lead Kangaroo Guy and Andy. Fortunately for Jishway, it didn't result in any damage to his car.
Just a
damage
lot
to his
of
tyres,
time.
Definitely. Yeah, he didn't lose a hell of a lot of position, so to his credit, but he's going to go all the way back down the field as we see more cars coming out. So the AlphaTauri duo are now 5th and 6th respectively, and Andy unfortunately gains a 3-second time penalty. He's sitting in 3rd, so that's another time penalty for him. That's going to hurt his chances at a debut podium in Div 3. Urban Growth is not very far behind him at all. In fact, the Battle Pack has barely condensed itself, actually, because the only omission from this battle pack has been Rapid Clappy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, WRL was overtaking Kangaroo Guy. Wasn't really gonna say that at first, but I saw that coming.
Yeah, we just saw that, yeah. Ripper of an overtake there from Andy to get ahead of Kangaroo Guy for P2, but sorry, you were saying?
I was just gonna say, Andy, Kangaroo, Urban need to just keep using each other and try to catch up to Country Swan Man. It's 1 second the gap here, so are we thinking early pit stops?
Maybe. I mean, the track is getting slightly cloudy. I don't know if it's just me, but it does look like there's a cloud coming over.
Yeah.
Mad Dog did lose P13. Mad Dog did gain P13 from Mitsu Boy here, sorry. But anyway, yeah, it's just super interesting seeing the battle continue further down the field. It appears Jishway hasn't really gained a lot from that early pit stop.
No,
He hasn't gotten ahead of Clappy as of yet.
He hasn't. Mad Dog could be in a net P3 here, potentially.
Yeah.
Once pit stops come and go, I think he could be in a net P3 as the gap at front's gone up to 1.5 seconds again. So now they're starting to use the ERS. If I'm Urban, I'll just keep saving that ERS and just wait until the pit stops and then use it.
Yeah, and then free up the battery and all give the battery break.
Yeah.
War Machine pits from P9, so he continued to gain a steady flow of positions there. And what tyres has he chosen? He's chosen the soft compound tyres. He wants to absolutely get the maximum pace he can before the rain starts to fall.
You know,
and I don't know if it's just me.
That's not a bad shout.
It's not a bad shout, honestly. It just depends on how soon the rain comes. And given how quickly it faded from lovely sunshine to ominous dark clouds like the ones we're seeing hover over this digital recreation of Paul Ricard, this is, yeah, very interesting, honestly.
Well, Flex and Itchy Boy could not make him last any more than, what, 4 or 5 laps. So if the rain comes in that time, War Machine could easily snap up fastest lap point here. Oh, Country!
Yeah, I reckon he could.
Crunchy.
I was going to say Crunchy looked a little unsteady there, giving Andy an open invitation to take P1, but Crunchy does hold on. Actually gains time from that exit he had. Actually, quite a good exit he had.
I just noticed as well, I think Urban made a mistake. He's 4 seconds behind Kangaroo Guy now.
Yeah, I reckon it's very likely he made it down the drooping testicle, which is that right-hander going down into the double right-hander in Sector 3, as Pajala calls it.
This is
and also, hello, Vorno.
There it is.
Good morning, mate.
There's that time penalty for Jishway, but now Clappy is coming up against laps now. So are we going to see a bit of Haas, bit of banter between the Haas boys? Do we think?
Maybe. Hard to say, if I'm going to be honest, because X-Laps hasn't pitted yet. Jishway has, but if these two are going to pit, they're going to be in a bit of a tricky situation. Clappy did set the fastest lap of the race just then, actually, which is rather interesting, as we're on board with Rapid Clappy, and you can see the internet of X-Laps has been unsteady tonight, to put it mildly. He has left the session twice due to connection issues, as we can see. Yeah, lead for the race has just changed, and I think I saw contact between Claps and X-Laps, actually. But there's now a three-way battle for the lead, with Swanman regaining that lead from Andy, who briefly had it into the chicane. And it looks like these two are fighting tooth and nail to keep their positions and to gain from each other. Yeah, that looked really sketchy there between the top three. They are still battling going into the drooping testicle.
Urban slowly but surely he's gained 1.5 seconds here.
Yep, the battle pack slowing each other down. I think I saw one speck of rain. Difficult to say at this time. But I do just want to say shout out to Rapid Forno. Good morning, mate. Good morning, good evening from Australia. Hope you're doing well, mate. Thank you for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you watching this live with us as we commentate through the mid part of the race. We see Jishway go incredibly wide out of that exit there. Clappy has gotten ahead of X-Laps through just pace. Clappy's proven to be really quick, actually. Currently setting the the fastest lap of the race so far. Will X-Laps get out of the way of Jishway, though? It is yet to be seen. He does. Okay, I don't think it's team orders, but Jishway does set the fastest lap of the race, so that's pretty interesting. The track continues to get murkier and murkier as the race elapses, as X-Laps gains a 3-second time penalty for his efforts. A lot of people taking very curb-heavy lines through this track. That's kind of not the way to go, isn't it, around here? Some parts yes, but some parts no.
Yeah. I just realised Flex does have a 5-second penalty. I forgot all about that, to serve when the rain comes. So...
Yeah, not ideal at all, so that's going to plummet him down. So he might be well advised to pit earlier than everyone else to just get out of that pack and then punch in a couple of fast laps. That being said, he is quicker in Sector 1. He's set a personal best.
What do we think about War Machine strat? Fresh softs. Do you think he's going to be able to undercut majority of the pack?
He might be able to, honestly. It's tricky to say because the soft tyres will hold some heat in the rain. What has happened?
No, nothing major, but it could have been a disaster. I think Andy went for a move at the second last corner and he just went a little bit wide. Maybe got a snap of oversteer and he was trying to make it for the track and not go into the pits. And Kangaroo Guy was there, but they left each other space, so that's all that matters. It's War Machine keeps getting time penalties. He needs to just calm it down and just keep it within track limits.
Yeah, absolutely, because the longer you mingle outside the track limits, the more it'll hurt you in the long run, especially given... Yep, we're seeing... I haven't seen... Oh, yes, I see it on board with Claps.
Just as I was going to say, the race leaders are sitting on 14 laps on their mediums. They're going to start to see, loss in traction and loss in delta. I wonder what strategies are going to be played now.
I reckon they're gonna wait it out until the track surface becomes too unsteady, which will be further exacerbated by their worn tyres, as you have correctly pointed out. They are running on 14-lap old mediums, and Andy did take the lead of the race away from Crunchy Swanman. However, Crunchy Swanman has managed to avoid penalties so far. Kangaroo Guy sitting behind him in P3 also has penalties to his name. A Streck Race gains a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, aka track limit violations. And as we have
down
a quick
the
look,
inside, what a move by Kangaroo Guy on Country
so Swanman's absolutely struggling.
Yeah.
If Kangaroo Guy's been able to fly ahead of him like that, and I believe Swanman's going to make an early dive. I reckon it's a little too early.
We've got the Alpha Tauris trying to build their pace and get up to the race group. At this point, we're seeing Gasly and one man fighting for positions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can see they're sitting very happy in P4 and P5 when at one point earlier on in the race they were fighting for the lone point in P10. And as you see, Crunchy Swanman's getting his tyres replaced. He's going for the intermediates. Clappy and Jishway both undercut Crunchy Swanman as we have a yellow flag in Sector 3. It is a Ferrari. It is War Machine. That strategy to go all out on the soft compound tyre has backfired on him, unfortunately. And I believe he'll be going straight... Yes, he is going straight into the box.
Talking about strategies, I don't know what my AI is doing, mate, but Hards, I don't know what strat he's trying to pull.
I just saw that. Yeah, interesting strat there. I wonder if that'll pay off.
Yeah, the inters are way too early. I think in the next 2 laps, is when the inters will come into their own.
Yeah, as we see, it's a boy here get ahead of Crunchy Swanman. The problem is that Crunchy Swanman going a bit too early on the intermediate tyres will effectively hurt the longevity of the tyre. We still only have 6 laps left of this race as we see X-Laps and Mad Dog exchange positions.
Yeah.
But yeah, they will affect the tyres as the tyres will not have moisture to wick up and cool down the tyres. They will just continue to get hotter and hotter, and therefore increase the wear, which is very much less than ideal.
Okay.
As we have Hayden Perks in the chat go, come on Rango.
Yeah,
well, that's the other interesting
thing.
I think race leader strategy has gone quite well for them, to be honest. They're going to have to pit for the intermediates or wet soon, and that's a bit of an extra pit that Jish and Claps are going to have to do,
Yeah, as I was saying, NRL Gasly stays out, but Clappy now goes P2 as WRL, as Andy, Kangaroo Guy, Urban Growth, and One Man all pit. One Man got a 5-second penalty for the pit lane infringement, meaning Itsy Boy here taking out that pit lane bollard has affected another car.
I think One Man might have got the tyre glitch. He's on hards. It's now wet. I think he meant to choose inters. Who chose the wrong tyres? X-Laps? One man.
One man on hards, poor bloke.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm seeing that.
And Mad Dog's on soft. That is the wrong tyre. That's the wrong tyre. I think
We've
it's
all
Especially
done
with the
that
conditions.
before. I
yeah.
wonder what Gasly's trying to pull at this point. He's 16
That being
laps on
said,
his
Mad Dog's
mediums.
getting ahead of X-Labs. What on earth? Oh, there's slight contact between the two.
Wonder
X-Labs
if
needs to be a bit more
Gasly's trying
careful
to
there.
hold the group back for his teammate to try and make his positions back.
It seems rather unlikely given the gap is 5.5 seconds between him and Clappy. As it stands though, no safety cars or VSC's been called yet. And as it stands, NRL Gasly is leading the pack with Rapid Clappy in P2 and Jushway in P3. This is really interesting. Jushway is still on the medium compound tyres. Did he box for mediums? Don't tell me he boxed for mediums, or is he not pitted yet?
He hasn't pitted yet.
Clappy hasn't pitted either.
He hasn't pitted.
So Clappy goes into the pits, he goes very aggressively into the pit lane. He just makes it in. Does Jushway avoid it? Yes, Jushway does avoid it. So fortunately, most people have been able to avoid getting pit lane infringements despite the pit board being there.
Andy may have
Super
made the
interesting.
right choice at this point. He's coming around the pits, coming around last turn on his intermediates. Hopefully he can warm them up and get some good laps in.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, Crunchy Swanman, unfortunately for him, he's only P9, but he has gained a few. He will gain a few positions from these pit stops. I just saw your AI boulder go into the pits again. Is your AI going to pick a pair of what tires? What tires have we not explored yet? Mediums. A used pair of mediums.
But I'm
It's
in,
your voice
I'm in
fade
Eclipse,
out.
it says for
Oh.
me.
Alright. Anyway, we're seeing Andy and Kangaroo Guy battle for first place as it stands. We don't know what their penalties are, as Kangaroo Guy nearly loses the rear coming out of that corner there. That track is being layered in a layer of shining clean rain. We're starting to see the reflections of the ERS recharging lights and dispensing lights to indicate that the battery is being discharged. We're seeing them reflect off the track surface, and as a result, Kangaroo Guy and WRL Andy H have some slight contact. DRS has been disabled. Kangaroo Guy was a little optimistic on the braking there and broke later than Andy, and unfortunately as a result, hit the rear of his car. Fortunately, no damage. But as you guys both saw before, DRS has been disabled.
Mad Dog's still going quick on the softs though, so I think it's your boy just has tyre wear issues, but Mad Dog...
He's on the mediums.
Yeah.
It's your boy here is on the mediums
Yeah.
and is still running P6.
He hasn't...
So that's really interesting.
As I said, he hasn't pitted yet, but he did get overtaken by Gasly very easily and Clappy as well, but I think that's more tyre issues than anything. As Mad Dog had to double shift down on that fast right-hander, so maybe the softs are not the way anymore.
They are absolutely. I am very much convinced, given the track surface, that they are absolutely not. As It's Your Boy here goes into the pits in P7, and that gives Crunchy Swanman another place back. So we see Dimmer sitting in P9 with XRT in P10. It's Your Boy here will be back out of the points as a result of this pit stop. Currently, Andy leads Kangaroo Guy by just a bit under 3/4 of a second. And then further back afield is Urban Growth, who could outright take the win here if he keeps his nose out of the track limits and therefore avoids track limit violations. See Crunchy sitting in P7 right now, doing a decent effort there to recover from the things that have gone against him in this race so far. He's shown very... Sorry, yes?
No, you're right.
I was just going to say, Crunchy's been showing some very promising performances throughout the season, but luck has been against him on a few occasions. And I'm hoping that he gets the result he deserves. He's shown, as I said before, he's shown a lot of promise in these races. Jushway has just been unstoppable in the mid part of the season. Seeing Perks say in the chat, "Come on, Urban, bring it on home." He's looking good too so far, mate, with 8 laps to go. He's looking pretty good so far for a podium. Car Gamer has also managed to avoid a penalty, so if he can get closer to that pack, he'll likely be able to, maybe, if there's a safety car, get points, but we've managed to completely avoid any sort of incidents so far, as we see X-Laps and XRT alongside each other going into the fast right-hander. X-Laps was very ambitious there and carrying speed through there, and it did kind of pay off. Did he get a warning for that, though? I don't know.
I'll have a look
XRT
for you.
isn't far behind him as a result.
Sorry,
what?
What lap is it?
It's lap 19 currently.
Yeah, he got a warning for it.
Yep. So that explains why, because he went completely off. He went too far into the right-hand curb, and then on top of that went a bit too far out on exit. So yeah, if you got one warning there, that makes sense. If you got 2, I'd be kind of surprised, but it wouldn't terribly surprise me, unfortunately, just from how aggressive that overtake was. But fortunately, no harm was done, therefore no foul, barring.
Tell you what, it's
track
very
limits.
good to see the C-class cars and their teams, you know, giving a good run for their money and making some positions.
C-class teams being Alpha, Williams, and Haas, correct?
Yep.
Figured so. Yeah, no, they've been proven pretty good here. I do like how League Racing does give us the opportunity to bring those teams that we like higher up than they actually are in terms of the Formula 1 World Championship. As we know, Haas have the flag of an aggressor and an invader, but unfortunately we can't change liveries in this game, so the Haas is stuck with that as is. That being said, the Haas finished last in the Constructors last year, and Jishway and X-Labs have proven to be a formidable duo when it comes to Division 3's races so far this season. As War Machine in P15 gets a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits, he's currently going through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this right now. If we get a late safety car, Urban, Gasly, Car Gamer, and Rango Killer will be your top 4.
Well, I don't know about Car Gamer and Rango Killer, given how far down the field they are, but they're a shout for points.
Yeah, but if there is a safety car, they all need to stay out, especially Rango and Car Gamer, and also Stroke Race. But I think those 4 will be your top 4 coming into the race if we get a late safety car.
Yeah, it's likely. We've seen more chaotic races before. But
is that
yeah,
one?
I'd say we got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Hard to say who got a yellow flag in Sector... Yeah, I think it might have been one man.
Welcome to all the
Was there
viewers
contact?
tuning in. It's really good to see you guys getting involved in chat, and you know, if you ever want to reach out, we've got many ways to get in contact, and come and join us, come and race.
Exactly, we've got the Nightbots sharing links down below. We've got a total of 30 viewers turning up, which is quite nice actually, quite good given it is Div 3. Div 3 doesn't typically get the viewership that Div 1 and Div 2 enjoy, so it's nice to see that there's a semi-similar viewership in the race.
Yeah, it's all,
so thank you once again.
Down to the Greek god Romulus, you know, it's all down to him.
Well, that's Noodles, mate. The Greek god's Noodles.
Nah.
Unless that's a meme.
Nah.
Oh, I get the meme now. You called me the Greek god for a while there.
Stroke Race 5-second
forgot that
penalty.
meme.
He's not had a good race. He will be a lap down. War Machine's got rid of his 5 seconds, so his penalty's down from 20 to 15. But I tell you what, a lot of these guys would need to try and clean up their penalties because it could cost them a fantastic result.
Well, Gasly gets one.
Yeah, Gasly just gets
You're
one.
right. I mean, it's like, in hindsight, it sounds easy. I mean, it sounds easy for all of us to just avoid penalties. But when the track limits are sometimes a bit undefined and sometimes are inaccurate compared to the actual Grand Prix layouts on race weekends in real life, it's especially tricky given, especially in 50% or more race distance, you've got 3 attempts. You've got 2 warnings, and on the third, you get a 3-second penalty. So you've basically got 2 lives to make a mistake. You've got 2 opportunities to go slightly wide.
Yeah.
And that's it.
2 corner cut and
that's very tricky to do, especially in changeable conditions like we've seen tonight.
Urban nearly loses it, but keeps it on the racetrack, which is key. But at this stage,
XRT.
Yep, go on.
XRT pits. Sorry, XRT pits for a new wing and new set of inters, which is a rather interesting call. As we see further down the field, we're seeing Stroke Race sitting down in P18, and he still remains in the lead provisionally, but of course penalties will put that into question. We see the 2 Aston Martin and Mercedes-Benz currently in the top 2 with the McLaren in P3, so it's a Mercedes 1, 2, 3 in terms of power units. And of course we're seeing actually we're not seeing Alpine, we're not seeing the Renault engines as Paul Di Resta will call it, because he's Welsh. He's Scottish, sorry, wrong part of the United Kingdom. And so he's Scottish and he goes, the Renault. And yeah,
well,
Reynolds just...
They're down in 13th and 16th, unfortunately, so...
Yes. Yeah.
Not
Mad Dog had an okay race. but has just had penalties and some incidents go against him.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately for him, he sits outside the points.
And see, I tell you what, it's very interesting that you mentioned Renault. You can see that Alpine's trying to make some moves this year. They've got a very interesting livery going on, don't they? They're partnered
They
with
do.
BWS or whatever it is.
Oh, BWT. BWS is
BWT.
the local Australian. Yeah, BWS is the local liquor place, mate.
Yeah,
No.
that's the place where I get the goon bags.
Yeah, we get the goon bags and we get the cheap beers. Yeah, BWT, they're an Austrian water company, and they're actually pretty cool what they do. I've read their website and all that sort of thing, and Vettel endorsed them and all that, and Vettel's a wholesome dude, so if Vettel's endorsing something, then you know it's going to be at least good. Yeah, it was really interesting to read about, and look, a lot of people don't like their pink, but I like the pink on the car, and unpopular opinion, but I prefer the full pink Alpine over the blue and pink Alpine.
Well, I tell you
I
what, I
didn't
didn't know about any sort of partnership between them, so it was very unexpected for me to see that livery this year.
Yeah, to be fair, it was sort of rumoured for a while there, not long after season end. But it was it was kind of put under quiet wraps for a bit, and then it was just suddenly like, hey, you know, op myself now. If that's how you pronounce his name? His name's a bit of a hand.
Yeah, you done it right.
Yeah. Cool. Wasn't sure honestly, but yeah, and obviously BWT went over, so it was rather interesting to see those cars. Those cars change so much. Of course, BWT is notoriously demanding of their sponsors. The only time they haven't really had pink on their car was through last year's Aston Martin. As you can see, there's a shade of a nice deep maroon pink, which is entrailing the side pods and the side of the leading car that we're witnessing on board right now, or on camera right now. Yeah, that's the only time we hadn't seen full-on bright pink on the car with BWT sponsoring.
See, honestly,
yeah,
I'm keeping my eye on Aston this year because I believe I know that it is going to take some time because, you know, as they have stated, their plan is going to be in steps over the next few years, but I really hope they can, you know, give us a good...
Oh, don't get me wrong, everyone loves to see an underdog win, but I don't know, I feel like them, because obviously Lawrence Stroll owns the group, owns Aston Martin, owns the team, but him using that as a thing to keep his son in F1, like, his son does deserve, Lance Stroll does deserve to stay in F1 in my opinion, but I reckon Lance is holding back that team's ambitions. Like, Stroll did have a good season in the first half of 2020, but it fell apart, but he did get pole in Turkey to his credit, but it's just hard to say. I don't know if the lineup they've got is the right one that will propel them to their goals in the future. Yeah, it's just tricky to say. And I feel the same about Alpine. I feel like Alonso is great. Alonso is amazing. He's 42 now, I believe, and he's hauling ass. He's awe-inspiring to watch. He's become one of my favourite F1 drivers.
See,
Ocon,
I heard you
he's
mention
okay.
that the other day. He's a bit of a shady character to me. I don't know much about it.
Alonso?
Yeah. He's got the pace. I know that. That's not a doubt.
I don't know, I just kind of love that, again, like with Raikkonen in 2019, I love seeing the older guys still be able to duke it out with you know, like Lando and Norris, for example. Like, Raikkonen and Norris in 2019 had a few battles in Austria and in Bahrain, I believe. And, like, you know, they were fighting for best of the rest. And, like, we had, Norris was 19 at the time, I believe? No, yeah, he was 19 because his birthday's in November. And he's, like, 10 months old. He's 10 months younger than me.
See... Well, the biggest thing is, right, and I find it very interesting, I fall under the group of the people that have just come to F1 and just you know, they're very obsessed with the sport, basically, at this point, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing F1 expand a lot, and it's reaching,
yes,
you know,
absolutely.
many different corners of the world at this point.
Yeah, even ones that invade other countries, which is, kind of why Russia is not having a Grand Prix this year. And I will also add that that does extend to Rapid Racing League's program for this season across all Australian and European divisions. We will not be running at Russia out of solidarity with Ukraine, as has been previously stated a few times in prior streams and also in our speeches for the liberty and freedom of Ukraine.
That could have been racist.
Sorry, what was that, Frizy?
I was just going to say, and that could have decided the race there with Andy. Nearly gets himself a time penalty, and that could have been all she wrote, because Urban Growth is under that 6-second mark. So if Andy gets another warning, he gets another time penalty. 6 seconds. It's now becoming a fight between Kangaroo and Andy, because that will be now for position. There's a yellow flag. It's War Machine.
In Sector 1.
It's War Machine. Still no safety car, but we're on 2 laps to go anyway, so no safety cars can come out.
Called. And War Machine gains a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. He might retire on track, as we see Strucker Race also running very wide for some reason.
As
Not sure
the
why.
race is starting to wrap up, it's getting very interesting. Andy's holding the pace, and from what I can tell, Kangaroo's given it everything, but he's trying to be patient. He's waiting for the right move. Because that's what it'll cost. If he makes it too early, it could cost him, one of the podiums.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, it's looking good. I will admit, it is looking very good, this race. And I've got to say, I'm really happy with the Div 3 guys. There's been plenty of penalties from off-track excursions, exceeding track limits, which some of them are bullshit, let's be real here. That's just how this game is. Yes, Vorno Rapid does indeed stand with Ukraine. We all are united in wanting freedom for the Ukrainian people. As I was saying back about the race, yeah, it's looking good. Wrapping up Urban Growth, I reckon, I don't know if he is going to outright get the win, but he's within a very good shot of getting it. Clappy, though, he's catching right up.
Yeah.
This is actually getting really...
Clappy, 12
I don't know
seconds.
why that's happening.
12 seconds of penalties for Clappy.
He's going to lose out on a lot then.
Yeah,
I hope that he doesn't ruin Urban's Growth. There's some slight contact between him and Urban Growth.
Yeah.
Urban Growth actually ends up losing the rear a little bit as a result of that.
Final lap.
We are entering final lap of this race, and Andy leads Kangaroo Guy, Urban Growth, Clappy, who now is making a move on Urban Growth and gets ahead, but he has 12 seconds of penalties. So you better hope that he has the fastest lap ever conceived in an F1 car to be able to keep that podium place. Urban Growth, all he's got to do is just remain mildly steady and not lose the car as the rain continues to fall, and if anything, it's actually getting worse. I wonder if that's indirectly affecting the tyres. Did we see Kangaroo Guy go a bit unsteady there?
Yeah,
Or
he
was that just me?
lost a little bit of traction there. But
Apparently Andy barely has any fuel left. We are seeing Andy with red flashing on his fuel limiter. He is slowing down
Same
on,
with
the back,
Clappy.
on the back straight.
Same with Clappy.
So Urban Growth is catching up. We had this happen in Div 2 as well between me and Cruda Karma, and I mean, we'll see if they get out of the way. They probably will, but Cruda, for whatever reason, did not get out of the way on some corners.
Clappy's out of fuel.
I don't know if he's even here. Rose got timed out for 10 minutes. That's just Nightbot. That's not anything we've done, mate. Nightbot's a bitch. Dimmer's retired. Wow. What happened to Dimmer?
Clappy's got a time penalty and out of fuel. What about Andy? Oh,
Clappy's lost a boatload of positions there. He's ghosted, trying to keep ahead of Jishway. They're actually phasing in between each other. But Andy will be fighting tooth and nail for his victory. He powers out of the final corner, loses the rear a little bit, still got fuel left in the tank. He crosses the line to provisionally take the win, but it's hard to say if he's got it through penalties or not.
Yeah, I think he's
stays
got it.
P2. Does Urban Growth get it? Urban Growth might get P2 here. No, he stays P3. NRL Gasly P4, Jishway P5. Clappy will cross the line P6, but he's got a lot of penalties to contend there. So see Crunchy Swanman go through the stuff straight. He's got no fuel either.
I think Clappy has just wrecked Urban Grove's P2 here.
Maybe, hard to say.
With that move.
Yeah, maybe. Swanman does get ahead of Clappy. X-Laps does not get ahead of Rapid Clappy. It's your boy here. Climbs up to P7. Decent effort there from him, as XRT unfortunately has just had a race to forget. He's 20 seconds worth of penalties on the final lap from very harsh conditions. FLX crosses the line P11. So those are our points paying positions. One man, Clappy, one man, and X-Laps round out your points paying positions with FLX on his debut in P11. Mad Dog in P12. Car Gamer with no penalties in P13. He's crossing through the final corner now with Renga Killer pretty far down the track actually. And poor old XRT out of fuel, out of the points. 20 seconds worth of penalties in the last second. Not where you want to be. And Car Gamer crosses P13. We're now just waiting for the last 2 cars to cross the line. Alright, fellas. What we do is we invite the top 3 and we have a chat.
Yeah. I think Clappy has cost Urban Growth a P2 here. And Urban Growth...
Maybe. I don't think it would have been through anything malicious, just through some hard racing.
Yeah, no, I think Urban might not see it that way. Because no penalties against 12 seconds of penalties, it's like, why would ya? Sort of a thing. And he ended up running out of fuel on the final lap anyway, so... We might see or hear a heated Urban Growth in a minute or so if Gasly gets driver today from Codemasters.
Yep, he started P15 and crossed the line P4, so very decent effort there from him as we see the podium rostrum filled with various nationalities of flags. We've got 2 Ukrainian flags up there, again in solidarity. That was an effort to acknowledge what's going on again, as has been previously stated. And of course we've got the British flag there. And there's your race results. I will screenshot these without the penalties in the way.
Thank you very much to all racers in Rapid Racing Division 3 that have joined us this evening for an excellent race.
I agree. Thank you once again for all taking part. Great job from everyone to avoid any sort of safety car or VSC or any sort of malicious incidents with one another. You've all done really well. And thanks once again for providing us with a night's worth of entertainment. I'll invite the top 3 to the party, and I'll have a chat with them one by one. And you guys can add in your feedback. Just see Clappy with 32 seconds of penalties there. Jeez.
Thank you to all viewers that have tuned in to come and join us. Make sure you stick around for the interview.
Yeah, we've got the top 3 all here. I believe all 3 of them have joined. We've got 6 people. Do we have 6 people in here? We now do. We now have 6 people in here. So I'll start with P3. I'll start with Urban Growth. It's a quality race from you once again, mate.
Before you do, make sure.
Yeah,
include audio.
Yeah, I'll include audio. Sorry, before we start, include your audio. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I'll repeat what I said. Good, excellent job there. Could have been P2. But talk to us through your race. How was it like out there?
Yeah, I shouldn't have left Rapid Clappy through because that just fucked my race up really for P2. And then he ran out of fuel anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah, he did run out of fuel, which did hurt his race there, but he still got points in the end. Still, you did a really good job there. You were one of the few people out there to avoid penalties of the sort. So,
well, you know me, Mr. Consistent.
Yes, you are. You are Mr. Consistent. It's good to see you back up on the podium again, mate. Well deserved.
Cheers, Ron. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
So, Kangaroo Guy, P2, mate. Good start. We're past the leaderboard thing, so I can't see where you started, but you were in the top 10 in qualifying. Talk to us through your race.
It was a pretty clean race for the most part. I'm kicking myself about the 2 penalties I copped, but yeah, apart from that, it was just stuck behind old Andy. Couldn't seem to quite get in front of him for most of it, but it was a good race nonetheless. I was quite happy with it.
Yeah, it looks pretty close. I just realised I can hear myself over someone's playing back my audio. That's right. I was hearing myself. I'm like, what? Yeah, but yeah, congrats on your P2, mate. That was well deserved. Did really well. Kept it clean. And,
appreciate it, mate.
Yeah. And let's go to our race winner, mate. I saw you in Div 1 last night. You were down there in the lower end of the 10, but here you are tonight. You're a race winner tonight. Talk to us through your race.
I did my best. Before I start, can I say that I completely forgot about the first 2 minutes of Q1.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah,
I
saw the messages, but I just sort of completely forgot, and I drove out, and I'm thinking, why is nobody out? And then I read the chat and thought, oh Jesus. Well,
that's all right, mate.
I'll take the quali ban. I'll take the quali ban for whoever suggested it.
Nah, there's no quali ban here. With the Panjalo and Div 1 joked about quali bans and so on. I don't know if they're actually serious or not. I'll actually inquire to them about that if they are. I'd be kind of surprised. But obviously, we are all still in unity about that anyway, regardless.
Of course.
And like, it's your first race. It's your first race in Div 3, and like, like you haven't been in Rapid Racing League for too long. So yeah, it's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. Still, well-deserved win, mate. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, no worries. That's bloody. It
Now,
was hard fought.
before you disappear, Andy, there's a few other questions that we'd like to ask you. Now, do you
What's that?
think the conditions for the race were in your favour, or do you think they cost you more pace?
What do you mean? Do you think you're asking if I prefer it in the wet or?
Yep.
France definitely. I just couldn't seem to get it hooked up in the dry, but the wet definitely favoured me a little bit. Yeah, I had a blister on my thumb at the start of the race, and now it's bleeding, so my whole left hand's covered in blood. So dedication.
Now, well, you've done a very good race today. You kept it very clean. You had some very impressive pace.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I had 3 seconds of penalties and 2 warnings, and I knew the guys behind me, they were either no penalties or equal to that. And I was also running low on fuel, so I was trying to conserve fuel, keep it on the track. And yeah, I'm just glad to. I mean, those guys in Tier 1, it's just a credit to how absolutely bonkers they are.
Did you have a strategy coming into the race?
Well, I saw that it was going to be wet, so I just thought I'll stay on the mediums until it rains. But I probably could have gone on those inters a bit later, but then my front left was at 80%, so I probably couldn't have done it a bit later.
Yep. All right. Well, we're all happy with the results, and we really thank you for the interview.
No,
we
thanks
hope you
for.
have a great evening, and we really hope you're happy with that result.
Oh, well, cheers to Rapid. I feel very welcoming to be able to try out Div 1 and try out Div 3 as well. And like I say, if feathers have been ruffled, I'm happy to go up to Div 2, or I'm not fussed. I just love getting
I
out
don't
there.
think feathers have been ruffled, mate. I don't think feathers have been ruffled. You're welcome.
I think you've
to be in
made
Div
things
3.
interesting, mate. I think you put everyone
Yeah.
on their toes, and that's a really good thing to see.
We've seen a lot of new Div 3 entrants do that, and Div 3 is definitely getting somewhere, and I'm really proud to be a part of that. Really proud to be witnessing guys be clean and respectful and improving the overall attitude and atmosphere in Division 3, because I know it's quite a bit different from Div 2 and Div 1. So thanks to all of you once again for that. Thanks to the podium sitters. You guys were really good.
Thanks, guys. It was a good race.
No, thank you.
Alright, well,
See you guys.
I guess we'll... Yeah, I was going to say, before you guys go... Oh, never mind then.
I'll stick around.
Frizy, does Frizy have anything? Does Frizy have anything to add? Urban Growth's already clocked off. He's off having a beer.
No, I'm just...
You got nothing else to add?
No, I'm just...
Alright,
Where are we at next, boys?
we are at Austria next, I believe.
Oh,
Nice.
no!
Alright, too easy, guys. Thank you.
All right,
Not
thank you.
Austria.
Have a good evening,
See you next
mate.
week.
Don't party too hard.
Finish off the stream there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed tonight's race. This has been broadcasted with your host, the usual SD Romulus in Div 3, along with Boulder Eater and Frizy. Shout out to them for joining me tonight. Thanks again, guys, for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you guys commentate with me.
No worries.
I hope we can do this again soon.
Yep. We might see a new Sully shirt from me at Austria. So that is going to be banter.
Yeah, it'll be good
That'll
to
be
see.
banter,
Make
absolutely.
sure you guys tune in for next week's race. Things are going to get very heated as we come, closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things are going to ramp up even in the mid-season. I'm finally back in the lobby.